Bayless has some very strong opinions on Kellen Moore. And he took to the Skip Bayless Show and did not hold back. He absolutely ripped Kellen Moore. He ripped the Saints for the hire. And so for today's video, we're going to dive into what he said. I'm going to give my response, and it's going to get ugly. You see it right here. Kellen Moore looks more like a team's IT guy. Skip Bayless, absolutely not. All my homies hate Skip, so give me an F Skip in the chat if you think Skip Bayless doesn't know ball, and if you think that he's just a hater. Dude's a Cowboys fan. He should be more focused on his team hiring Brian Schottenheimer than us hiring a Super Bowl champion. Yeah, get out of here, Skip. Alrighty, first things first. We're going to dive into this quote. It's a lot of quotes here, a lot of opinions, just piece by piece. We're going to break it down. So starting off here, I'm here to tell you he's a nice guy who isn't remotely qualified to be the Saints head coach. This is Skip Bayless ripping Kellen Moore right now. I hope I'm wrong for the Saints' sake, but all I can say to you after you hosted the Super Bowl in New Orleans, good luck with Kellen Moore. You know, I'm going to just be honest, makes me believe in the hire even more. Like anything Skip Bayless, if he has an opinion on something, just like the opposite is usually the truth. Just kind of being a hater on Skip right now, just going to be fully transparent. But, you know, why would I not believe in this hire? Why would I not believe Skip Bayless's thoughts when he is a notorious hater of Kellen Moore? He's been hating on Kellen Moore for years at this point. It's also a fact that Skip Bayless is a diehard Cowboys fan, and it's also a fact that Kellen Moore left the Cowboys and went on to do better things. And so he's probably a little salty about that. Probably a little pissy. He's probably a little upset that he didn't get a little piece of that pie. More from Skip Bayless. Sure, Kellen Moore can call plays, but he has zero charisma. He's a nice guy, but zero personality. It's like my producer said to me last night, Kellen Moore looks like he should be the Eagles' IT guy. You don't see many sideline shots of Kellen Moore calling plays because he's just so uninteresting. Look, I don't care that there's not a lot of sideline shots. I don't care that there's not a lot of videos of him in the huddles. I don't care that there's not a lot of videos of him running around practice hyping guys up. To be totally honest, I don't give a shit what your leadership style is. As long as you're winning games, we're not talking about it. I mean, Kellen Moore could sit here and be dead silent, and if we're winning 15 games and competing in the Super Bowl, nobody's going to question his leadership style. However, if he's loud and he's rah-rah and he's all up in your face, things are going to be, praised if they're winning. But if they're losing, then it's going to be, well, he's too loud and he's a clown and he's just doing this all for show. So no matter what happens here, Skip Bayless is not going to have a positive outlook on Kellen Moore. And like I said, I don't care what the leadership style is. I care about winning games. If you win football games, we don't have this conversation, and you know that for a fact. Now coming up, I'm going to be totally honest, this is absolutely insane. Skip Bayless, he called Kellen Moore a nerd. That's a fact. He called Kellen Moore a nerd. So we're going to break down what he had to say here in just a second. But really quick, I got to give a big time shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is the best thing to keep that hiney shiny, a Tushy bidet. You think you have problems until you hear another dude fighting for his life in the toilet stall next to you. I'm going to be honest, before this show, had to take care of some business. Our Falcons Today host, he was struggling in the bathroom because he wasn't using a Tushy. 88% of people have already shit the bed on their resolutions, but you can still get your ass right by washing with a Tushy bidet. I absolutely love my Tushy bidet. I use it every single day, and most days multiple times. Instead of wiping yourself raw with toilet paper, Tushy gently removes 99% of bacteria while protecting your natural skin barrier thanks to one natural ingredient, fresh water. Tushy has two new ultra-sleek bidet seats, Wave and Oasis, with front and rear wash to clean all those hard-to-reach places. There's still time to get your ass right for life. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's 10% off your first order of a bidet from Tushy at hellotushy.com with promo code CHAT. Keep that hiney shiny with the Tushy bidet. All the information is in the comments and description of this video. I absolutely love Tushy, and I'm here to tell you, you will too. So go down in the comment section, check out Tushy, and get started today. So we're going to talk more about Skip Bayless and Kellen Moore here because I just think that he's just being so unfair. And I think that he's just ripping him for no reason and kind of just taking shots at him for clicks, to be totally honest. So shame on you, Skip Bayless. Let's go ahead and get our response in. He's the opposite of the commanding officer that you need running a football team. This is no natural-born leader. This is mousy quiet. Where was it written that these stat nerd play callers could become great head coaches? And sure, I can understand where he's coming from of like, he's not a rah-rah guy. He's not a big leader. Like, that's never been something that he's been highly praised for. But let's not pretend like Kellen Moore doesn't know how to lead people or lead an offense at the bare minimum. He did it at a very high level as a quarterback at Boise State. He did it at a very high level as an offensive coordinator at every stop he's been at. And Kellen Moore has learned from each stop what it takes to be a head coach. He's going so far as to saying, I have been fortunate to be around some great people, team up with them, and continue to evolve and prepare myself. And I mean, look at what the Eagles offense did. He continued to evolve. He continued to prepare himself. In each and every week, he catered to the strengths of the roster for Philadelphia. Now, obviously, the Eagles offense was a ground and pound team. And they were number 2 in rushing yards per game. They were a top 5 scoring offense. They were number 8 in yards per game. This was an elite offense, especially on the ground. But when it comes to the air, that wasn't the case. And I can understand why Skip Bayless might say, oh, he's not a good leader. He doesn't have this. But, like, look, despite this stat right here, Kellen Moore won a Super Bowl, and his offense, sure, there's a pick 6 in there, put up 40 points. I mean, what do you want else? What more do you want from him? Like, he knew that he had an elite offense with a great offensive line and a phenomenal running back in Saquon Barkley. When Jalen Hurts did throw the ball, he was effective. He just didn't have to do it all that much. So I'm going to tell you this right now, Skip. Nerds know ball. You don't, my friend. You don't know ball. Kellen Moore can be a good head coach. It doesn't matter if he's loud. It doesn't matter if he's screaming, if he's having blood vessels pop in his forehead, getting mad at refs. I don't care about all that. If you're winning football games, that doesn't matter. Skip Bayless continued to say, what has Kellen Moore ever done in his coaching career that would qualify him to be a great head coach? Do you see any Sean Payton, any of that oozing charisma that Sean had? No. Well, look, what did Kellen Moore do to earn a head coaching spot? Well, he did coach the number 5 scoring offense in the National Football League to a Super Bowl victory. Nick Sirianni's not the play caller. Kellen Moore is. Kellen Moore is a big reason why the Eagles found all of the success that they did this year. It felt like they were a team of destiny. Kellen Moore was the orchestrator of that offense. And in case you didn't know, this isn't just one good year of Kellen Moore. It's not just the Eagles season and then that 1 or 2 good years with the Cowboys. No, Kellen Moore's offenses have been elite over the past few years. I mean, he's had 4 years with Dallas, 1 year as a play caller for the Chargers, and 1 year as a play caller for the Eagles. And then throughout those, look at the accolades here. Top 10 in no huddle rate every single year. He's a nerd, but it works. Top 10 in neutral pace every year. He's a nerd, but again, Super Bowl champion, so it works. Top 10 in offensive plays per game every year. They're staying on the offensive side of the ball. They're controlling the clock each and every game, each and every season that he has been calling an offense. He also scores a lot of points, 5 out of 6 years, top 10 in points scored. And then also on top of that, top 10 in yards per game. So Kellen Moore's offense is sure, he may not be the loudest rah-rah guy in the whole wide world. But again, I've said it before and I'll continue to say it. I don't give a shit. When you're doing this, it's a pass for me. And the biggest thing to be right now, like, it has nothing to do with the leadership qualities or the leadership style he has. It has nothing to do with the offensive mind that he can bring. It has everything to do with, it's just something new. It's something different. It's something fresh. What, 20 years, 20 plus years we've been trying to do the same thing, the same song and dance, and for a while there it was awesome. Sean Payton, Drew Brees years, yeah, it was great. Ever since then, you've been trying to recreate nothing. So I'm just excited that we have something new, something fresh, something that has no ties to previous regimes. And Skip Bayless, if you're just going to be a Cowboys fan and be a hater, that's on you, my friend. But we'll come and revisit this conversation here at the end of the season. I can guarantee you that. So let me ask you this question, I should say. How do you feel about the Kellen Moore hire? Scale it for me 1 to 100 down in the comment section. 1 meaning you absolutely hate it. 100 meaning you're a big, big fan. It's the best hire they could have possibly made. Get down in the comment section, share your thoughts. I'm probably about a 78 to an 85, somewhere in that range. Like, of course, I would have loved a Ben Johnson, but like, hey, Kellen Moore, Super Bowl champion. It's a pretty good ring to it coming off of a phenomenal year. So friendly reminder to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We go live every single week. We go live anytime that there is any sort of big breaking news. We also provide awesome content all throughout the year, not just during the football season, not just during the offseason, 365 days a year. So be sure to subscribe. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time.